Hi, folks. This is Ariel Baruch. I'm out of Syracuse TV studio. Today we have a special guest, Mary Branson. She wanted to share her story about her health journey, how she got into studying into all aspects of health, primarily because of where she was years ago. And she's a very interesting person. She's a graduate of Institute of Integrative Nutrition from 2016. She finished Trenton State College. She has 30 years of experience teaching children from toddlers to seventh grade. So I would like welcome Mary to share her story about her health journey, and she has a lot of interesting things to say.
Okay, thank you, Baruch or Ariel, for that introduction. So I also became a holistic health coach because I wanted to learn how to heal myself from many conditions that I had. So if we can pull up the first slide, I can start with my story. Okay, so this was me even before 48 years old, but this was actually the last time I had these issues. But for many years, I had terrible migraines. I had to lay down in a dark room. My head would just feel like it was going to explode. My eyes would water. Lights bothered me, and I just had to lay down and just for an hour or so and just kind of um, be in a dark room and sleep. That was the only thing that seemed to help. I had terrible allergies. I was allergic to cats and dogs and dust and mold and many different things. And symptoms for allergies were the same. My head would just feel awful. My whole sinus area would feel awful, and it was just not 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 very pleasant when those allergies flared up. And it was something I had year round. They weren't just seasonal. So I was always, feeling the effects of allergies. Um, I also had my vision was starting to deteriorate. So I was a glaucoma suspect. Um, they were even thinking maybe I would have to have cataract surgery. So my eyes were starting to deteriorate. I had LPR, which is a form of reflux. And if I ate certain things, I would get sick. And that would happen, several times throughout the year. My gums were starting to recede. I had deep pockets in my gums, and I put on about 25 pounds of an unnecessary weight that I didn't really, I'm not very tall. I'm only 5'2". So when you put on 25 pounds, it really shows. So I was a mess, to put it bluntly. I was a mess at 48 years old. So next slide. So these are some of the things I did to help with the conditions that I had. I was taking Zyrtec D every day, and I hated it. It made me feel lightheaded. It made me feel dizzy, but that was the only way to manage my allergy symptoms. I was on pantoprazole twice a day for my reflux. And if I didn't take it and I ate certain things, I would get sick. I was on migraine maintenance medication. I was in danger of needing glasses. Um, my gum disease was getting worse. I had deep pockets. They said they were going to have to do surgery, to help correct my issues. And, you try dieting, but dieting doesn't really work unless you kind of change your whole lifestyle. So dieting didn't work for me. Next slide. So today, at 56 years old, I am very happy to report that Zyrtec D is no longer taken. I actually went to an allergist several years ago to get shots because I knew I didn't want to take Zyrtec D forever. And I went back a month later for them to test me, and the allergist said, "You don't have any allergies." And I said, "Yes, I do. I've had allergies for 25 years." And she said, no, you don't. So she did second level testing, third level testing. She checked the placebo. She did everything. And she said, you have no allergies. So I was so excited for that news alone. And I no longer take pantoprazole. I don't have any reflux issues. You know, I can eat whatever I want. I don't get sick. So I was happy to get rid of that. I haven't gotten a migraine in about 6 years, so that is great news for me. I don't need glasses. In fact, I went to the eye doctor several years ago, and she said, that's amazing. At age 50, you need nothing for glasses. And 6 years later, I still don't need anything for glasses. So it's just pretty incredible to not need glasses when you're 56 years old, because so many people I know need them, at least for reading or for distance. My deep pockets are gone. My dental health is so much better. I just went to the dentist and he said everything looks great. So I was excited about that. And I lost my 25 pounds. So I'm now maintaining a healthier weight through some important changes that I've made to my diet and my lifestyle. So I feel better today in my 50s than I did in my 20s. Next slide.
Okay, Mary, can you move just a little bit so you're in the middle of the screen? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you got it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to the next one.
Okay. So how did I get to where I am now? So there's a lot of things I did. So I'm
Okay, so we look like we lost Mary for a little bit. She's trying to reconnect right now. So don't want to give away Mary's story, but I've known Mary since April this year. First, I heard she was presenting at one of the meetings, group meetings, where she was presenting about diet and nutrition. And the thing that kind of stood out is one of the things she's going to be talking about in this presentation when she reconnects with us. So I think producer's saying that
Ariel?
Mary is back. So Mary, welcome back.
Yes. Sorry about that. I think my computer froze.
Yeah, we
So I'm
figured that.
back. Okay. Um, so the last slide I was at, I was just going to tell you where a little bit about my journey and how I got to where I am now. So you can go to the next slide. So it really started with one simple change. And when you want to maintain better health, you know, so many people can tell you what you should do and all the steps to get there, but it can be really overwhelming. So the best thing to do is just to start with one simple change at a time. And that's what I did. So you can go to the next slide. So about 7 years ago, my sister introduced me to these soft chews, and these are fruit and vegetable soft chews. And I was kind of curious about them because I said, how can that help all of my health issues? And she explained to me that all it is just fruits and vegetables crushed up into a soft chew form. And I was very skeptical because, you know, I was taking vitamins, but the vitamins didn't seem to do anything. But she was my older sister, someone I respected. I figured, you know, she must have done her research to figure out, you know, what was the best thing to do to try to help your health. So I started taking the soft chews, and I noticed right away that I had more energy. Um, my hair and my nails and my skin seemed to be, you know, have a better appearance. My nails used to break and peel all the time, and now they're really strong and healthy. My hair was growing faster and thicker. So, and it didn't really occur to me about those changes, but you know, when I noticed my nails, I guess that was when I noticed that something important was really happening in my body, because the only change I had really made was to start to take these soft chews. Okay, and next slide. So while I was taking the soft chews, because I learned that they were whole food, I really wanted to understand why whole food was so important. What is it about these fruits and vegetables that keep us healthy? So I signed up for the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and it was a year-long health coaching program. So I became a holistic health coach. I learned a lot about the power of fruits and vegetables. And one of the biggest takeaways I got from the course was diets don't really work, but if you are going to follow like a lifestyle type of diet, the Mediterranean diet is really the best diet for anybody. It's very heavily plant-based. It's oils and nuts and seeds, and it's just really what keeps us healthy. So plants are great detoxifiers. So if you can eat as many plant sources as you can, it really helps to detoxify a lot of the bad things that are inside your body. And next slide. So when I really researched the difference between multivitamins and whole food, there's so many important differences. Number one, with multivitamins, they might take the vitamin C out of an orange and put it into a vitamin bottle. But the reason that doesn't work is because your body can't recognize it. Your body needs every part of the orange in order to do what it's supposed to do in your body, in order to get absorbed. So it's really not worth it to take a multivitamin. Your body just excretes it out and can't really utilize it. So it's really important to eat whole food. And that's why the fruits and vegetables work so well in your body, because your body recognizes it immediately. It's bioavailable, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream, and it does the important work of, you know, decreasing oxidative stress and free radical damage and lowering inflammation. The root cause of most illnesses and diseases is inflammation. So if you can lower the inflammation in your body, then you really should be able to heal many of your issues. And next slide. Excuse me. So I started taking the soft chews first, and then I decided, soft chews are mainly for the kids. And even though they tasted delicious, I decided that I should probably switch over to the capsules. So when I switched over to the capsules, I also added the berry blend. The berry blend comes in soft chews also and capsules. So when I added the berries to my regimen, I really noticed a lot of important changes. I play soccer, and I would get winded all the time playing soccer. And once I added the berry blend, I noticed I wasn't getting as winded as quickly. And they just really helped to support, my lung function when I was doing exercise. So I noticed also that after maybe 6 months or so, that is when I went back to the allergist and noticed that I didn't have allergies. I started to wean myself off of my medication, not under a doctor's care, but that's not what most people should do. You should try to wean yourself off under a doctor's care. But I decided, I didn't want to take medications anymore. So I had been taking the soft chews and the capsules for a while. So I decided to wean myself off of the pantoprazole, off of the migraine medication. And I noticed that I didn't need the pantoprazole anymore. I was willing to risk it. But I haven't needed it in 6 years. And I don't have any intention of ever going back to it. So that was a great bonus that I was able to get off of all of my medications. Next slide, please. So the other important thing that I started doing was I added a smoothie every day to my routine. So I would have it for breakfast. And the smoothie, it's really critical, I feel, to drink plant-based smoothies because whey is a dairy product and dairy causes inflammation, which can cause illness and disease. So I feel like it's really important if you're going to do a plant-based, a protein smoothie, that it be plant-based. And I really researched this smoothie because I didn't I wanted to make sure that it was safe and that it was effective. And this smoothie is made with ancient grains. It's completely gluten free. It's low glycemic, so it's great for diabetics. It's NSF certified. It's kosher. Has a lot of all the amino acids, protein, fiber. So it's a great breakfast for me. I add a lot of things to it. I add a healthy fat and fruits and vegetables, shake it up, or actually blend it with some ice and water, and it just tastes delicious. Dutch chocolate is my favorite. It also comes in French vanilla as well. Okay, next slide, please. So one of the newest products, actually, as far as the capsules go, it is the newest capsule. So the company asked a lot of their customers what they were taking in addition to the Juice Plus capsules. And the feedback that came back was unanimous that people wanted a high quality omega. And omegas are critical for brain health. They're really critical for gut health, for every organ in your body. But people either weren't eating fish or weren't taking an omega. And if they were taking an omega, it could have, they were getting fishy burps and they didn't like the taste. Fish can be tainted with mercury and they're not as sustainable. So it's really much better to take a plant omega. So when they researched, they found that that fish only get omegas from the algae they eat. So you don't have to eat fish to get high quality omega sources. You can go right to the algae. And that's exactly what they did. They used sea buckthorn berry, tomato seed, pomegranate seed, safflower seed, raspberry seed, and algae. And they made this really high quality omega that is 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And it's just a great, great alternative to fish omegas. But they wanted to go one step further. They said, we know heat degrades oils, so we're going to make a 2-piece capsule and we're going to cold fuse it so the heat doesn't degrade the oils, so it's cold fused. They know that oxygen degrades oils, so they put a nitrogen bubble inside of the capsule to help so nothing gets degraded, nothing gets tainted. So it's really a pure, highly effective omega. And the omegas are actually, the research shows that it reached the omega-3 index in your body in half the time with half the dose as traditional omegas. So it's really an incredible thing to take. And it's more sustainable, so why keep overfishing and running the risk of getting tainted sources of omegas when a plant omega is so much safer? The alternative is so much safer. Next slide.
Kelly Reagan actually commented. She said, "Wow, Mary, wow, she knows her stuff." So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. So the last product that they have is a tower garden, which is an aeroponic growing system. And I started to want to grow my own produce because I noticed the quality of the produce in grocery stores is really so much less nutritious. It doesn't taste very good. And the reason for that is because they pick their produce way too early before it has a chance to vine ripen. And when you allow plants to vine ripen, that's when you get most of the nutrition from the plant. So if you go into the grocery store, most of what you see on the shelves is, 2 to 4 weeks old. So, and it didn't fully ripen. So it's far less nutritious than it used to be. In fact, you have to eat 54 cups of broccoli today to get the same amount of iron that you got in 1950 from 1 cup of broccoli. So that is, pretty staggering statistics. So I wanted to grow my own produce, and the Tower Garden was something the company actually bought the rights to because they knew it would be a great complement to what they're already doing and promoting. So it was developed for NASA because it grows 30% quicker with 30% more yield and uses 90% less water. You can use it indoors like this one with grow lights. So when I have it indoors, I grow all of my greens for my smoothies. I grow spinach and kale, chard, lettuce, basil, some herbs. And the taste is just so much more satisfying and so much more nutritious. Next slide. You can also do it outdoors. So when the warmer weather hits, I bring my Tower Garden outdoors. I take off the grow lights, and everything is on a timer. It has a 20-gallon reservoir. So you can set the water on a timer. When it's indoors, the grow lights are on a timer. So it's very easy. In fact, I have a black thumb and I can't grow anything. And my husband can attest to that. He's the one who takes care of the plants in our house. So if I can grow this, anybody can grow this. It's very, very easy. The only thing I do is add water and nutrients once a month. And it grows very quickly. So outdoors, I grow cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers. You can go to the next slide. And these are just some examples of what I've gotten from my Tower Garden. So we get so many tomatoes every summer. So I made my own salsa. We get lots of greens, and hopefully you can really see the rich, deep color of the greens. The cucumbers are amazing. The peppers taste great. So those are some things I've grown indoors and outdoors. Next slide, please.
Belly of Nevada, I guess. Said so inspiring.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. And on the next slide is just some other things that I've tried my hand at. So every year I try something new. So I've grown some green beans. I've grown the chard. I just love the pretty colors of the Swiss chard because every color is important to eat. So I've done Swiss chard, regular chard. I've done some melons. You can go to the next slide. So I've done some melons, some strawberries, and then there's just some more pictures of the cucumbers and peppers and tomatoes. So anything that grows on a vine can grow on the Tower Garden. So you can grow close to 100 fruits, vegetables, herbs. There's many, many things you can grow on the Tower Garden. So it's just a great way to grow your own food, and you can really taste the difference. And also, one other thing with the Tower Garden is it's a lot of people think, oh, that's too big. I live in a small space. It's not very big. It's about 2.5 feet wide and 5 feet tall. So it's, really great for people who live in apartments who want to do rooftop gardening or things like that. It's great for, people in communities where they don't have access to a lot of fresh produce. In fact, there's someone named Stephen Ritz who's a teacher in the Bronx, and he started this whole program where he has tower gardens in all of his schools And he has a curriculum, and the kids do all the growing, and then they can take produce home to their families, which is pretty incredible. And he's done a lot of fundraising. So he's putting tower gardens all over the world in underdeveloped countries, because it's just so critical for kids to learn how to grow their own food and how to eat the right things, because kids are really in crisis right now. So we need to do what we can to help not just ourselves, but future generations. And next slide, please. So you probably, hopefully, have been able to see my passion throughout talking about these products, but I just love the founder of the company, Jay Martin. He's so servant-hearted, and he said,
Okay, so while Mary is trying to reconnect, she's actually connected to the studio from Massachusetts. So while she's trying to reconnect, I'll kind of fill in a little bit here. So, like I mentioned previously, I first spoke with Mary was almost half a year ago when she did presentation on nutrition and talked about different aspects of diet, um, and she introduced me to these products. And so Mary is back. So Mary, welcome back.
sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I keep getting kicked out. Um, so anyway, I was just saying that Jay Martin just really wanted to create something that mattered. In the 1970s, he did smoke detectors, and then he went on to air filtration and water purifiers. And then in the 90s, he said, there's so many chronic illnesses that children are getting that they never had before. Kids are getting cancer, they're getting diabetes, they're obese, they have heart disease. Kids coming out of the womb have thousands of toxins in their umbilical cord. So he really wanted to create something that would help heal people's systems. And so people don't have to be on medications. He wanted to make it simple, and he wanted to make sure it was backed by clinical research. So it is the most thoroughly researched nutritional product in the world. They have 43 studies, and their most current ones are on cognitive health and on gut health, because your gut is your second brain and they're connected. So if your gut's not healthy, your brain won't be healthy, and vice versa. So the smoothies provide a powerful prebiotic and macronutrition that helps soothe your gut, helps feed the good guys, so your gut stays healthy. And the capsules provide critical micronutrition. Um, and it's just such a great product for people to start taking if they want to improve their health, because it's so simple. It's just the catalyst to making better changes. For me, I started with the soft chews and the capsules, and then I started cutting out sugar, and then I cut out dairy, and I cut out wheat. And I just started eating a lot more fruits and vegetables, and I'm drinking more water and trying to get more sleep. So I've really, it just led to so many better health changes for me, that I believe all of these changes combined are what has helped me become as healthy as I am today. And next slide, please. So, what I also love about the company is this is it. That what you see is what you get. It's a very limited product line, but it's so inclusive. The nutrition from the fruits, vegetables, and berries give you 30 different plant sources of fruits and vegetables that you probably wouldn't eat on a daily basis, like elderberry and goji berry and acerola cherry and mango and guava and different things that you probably don't eat every day, but you only need a little bit of a lot of different colors. So you're getting thousands of micronutrients in your body every single day when you take the capsules. One thing that's really important to note is that the capsules have a nutrition label, so it gets immediately absorbed. They draw blood before and after every study to make sure that it's bioavailable and is helping your cells and your tissues and your organs become healthy. They have the smoothies and bars and the Tower Garden. So they really, I feel like with the omegas and the Tower Garden, they have kind of covered just about everything. The only other thing I take is a vitamin D just because of where I live. And actually, I think everybody needs it, even if you live in Florida, because vitamin D is just so critical for lots of organ functions. And, it helps protect your immune system and that kind of thing. So, I love that, the company has over 43 research studies proving that it's really doing great work in your body. And then kids between the ages of 4 and 24 can get the capsules or soft chews for free for 4 years, which is amazing. So they're realizing that they really need to start with the whole family. And all of my kids are getting the capsules or soft chews for free. My parents are sponsoring a couple kids, and we sponsored a couple kids. So, it's just so nice that the company just really wants to encourage everybody, because it's so easy in a family for one person to sabotage somebody else's efforts. So if you can get the whole family involved and realizing this is an important thing for their bodies, it really helps to shape future generations. And then we can hopefully get off of medications and machines and prescriptions and things that aren't serving us. So next slide, please. So there's different ways to contact me if you'd like more information. My website is marybranson.juiceplus.com. And that on that website, you can see all 43 research studies, the abstracts. You can get information about the capsules and the Tower Garden, the omegas, the smoothies. There's a lot of great information on my website. And if you'd like to email me or call me, you can go to mreganbranson@gmail.com. And my cell phone number is 774-219-7970. And then the last two resources, one of them is a free resource, healthylivingrevolution.com. And they have e-cookbooks. They have exercise videos. They have tips and education for how to drink more water, how to get more sleep, lots of videos. So that's a great resource for anybody to go to just to get some more information about health tips and how to keep yourself healthy. And then if you wanted to learn more about the company itself, you can go to thefreedomrevolution.com, and the password is welcome. And that'll give you a lot more background about the company and what they offer and how they came to be. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions you may have.
So you said something that I experienced myself. You said one person in the family can sabotage this whole process of, changing diet or changing lifestyle. For example, spouse may be a good cook and they may feel offended when you come to them and say, well, you know what, this diet or this dishes or this cuisine doesn't really work for me. For example, if the spouse love Italian food with a lot of oil, a lot of pasta, and at some point in your health journey, you feel like, well, I don't want that much pasta or that much oil in my cuisine. I want to do something a little bit different, and it's very, it's not easy to deal with. When you have a close relationship, let's say with a spouse, it's spouse can kind of make it or break it in terms of your progress. So what would you recommend to people who kind of face this kind of situation where, let's say, the spouse is the one who is cooking and the spouse is kind of heavy on using, I don't know, let's say pastas or fats or
Well,
butters?
yeah,
What
that's
would
a
you
great
recommend them?
question. Yeah, that's a great question. So it's funny because I started taking the soft chews and the capsules myself. I only bought one order just for myself because my my sister when she told me about it, I said, okay, I'll give it a try. So I didn't really expect it to be like this great thing for everybody. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll support you and give it a try. And then I noticed that my husband was stealing my capsules. And I said, if you want my capsules, I'll get you an order. And he said, I'm not stealing them. I'm just taking them. I thought we were sharing. So, I just started taking them. And then he said, oh, what's this? I'll give this a try. And, he noticed that it was doing, good things for him as well. So, and then I, was able, you know, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but my kids were in eighth grade and college between eighth grade and college when I started. So I got rid of the cookies and I got rid of the chips and I kind of got rid of a lot of things that weren't very healthy. And I would give them the soft chews in their lunch. But I noticed that they were starting to take fruits and vegetables in their lunch more. They were starting to make better choices. And, I didn't cut everything out because I think that's the worst thing to do is to cut everything out. So, they had lactate ice cream that they still liked the taste of. And, they still had treats here and there, but it's just, gradually doing it. And, people like to say 80-20. Try to eat 80% clean and then leave the 20%, for things that you really don't want to give up. For example, who take the capsules say, I can't really, give up my coffee in the morning. So, we're not asking you to do everything, you know,
That's me.
just start small, and I actually gave up coffee because I realized it was the cream and sugar that I was addicted to. It wasn't the caffeine itself. It was the cream and sugar. So I gave up coffee and I switched to decaf tea and I've never gone back and I love it. I put honey and cinnamon and ginger and, things in my tea to taste good. And I also noticed I just wanted something warm in the morning. So it didn't have to be the coffee. So I just think, if you have a spouse that likes making pasta dishes and things like that, it's fine to eat a little pasta, but, you know, add more vegetables,
So,
add more
so how do you
fruits.
control portions? Like one of the issues in today's society, we essentially have a consumer-based society. It's kind of targeted towards selling more and more and bigger plates in restaurants and tremendous diversity of different food products in stores. So when it comes to really like do you watch calories? Do you count calories? Like what is your approach towards like limiting the
Yeah. So
portions?
I don't count calories because I eat mainly fruits and vegetables and nuts and things like that. So I just feel like if I'm eating the foods that God intended us to eat, that are going to serve me, I don't count calories at all. There's a very famous pediatrician, Dr. Sears, who is, part of the company. And his motto, he says to parents and even to adults, eat half as much, chew twice as long, and eat twice as much. So eat like half as much, but several times throughout the day. So you're not, you don't come down to dinner starving, or you're not starving when you have lunch. Just try to eat like we're grazers. We're not meant to gorge on 3 meals a day. We're just meant to graze on smaller meals throughout the day and just really taking the time to enjoy your food. Do some mindful eating, just chew it twice as long and really appreciate it. What you're eating, and don't just look at it as a way to just eat and go. Really take the time to enjoy what you're eating. So if you do that, you tend to eat less, um, because I think the full sensor doesn't really reach your brain until for like 20 minutes or something. So people eat and eat and eat, and then they say, "Oh, I'm so stuffed," because they didn't give their brain a chance to, in their stomach, a chance to let them know that they were full. So, you just, Try to eat half as much, twice as often, chew twice as long.
So with your tower garden, so you grow all year round, correct? So
Yes.
essentially you just rotate different crops, and all of those plants they essentially there's so maybe you can just give a brief overview of this whole system. Do you have to buy
Uh,
seeds, and
So,
in terms of
yeah.
operation,
So
how
when
does it
you
work?
buy, yeah, when you buy the tower garden, they give you everything you need to get started. So they give you like 3 to 5 years worth of seeds. They give you rock wool because they don't start it in soil because soil can be contaminated.
Mhm.
So you start the seeds in rock wool, little rock wool cubes. You put some vermiculite on top, and then when they sprout, you just put the cube right into the opening of the tower garden. So it's very easy to start. And then they also give you the nutrient solution because their nutrient solution is made with earth minerals. So they have a proprietary mineral solution, nutrient solution for the plants. And then they give you the acid and base um, liquids and the tester kit to make sure that your pH is at the right level. So if your water's too acidic, you can add, one of the acid or bases to lower it or raise it, and vice versa. And
So
then you
how
know
much
that your
effort it
pH
takes?
is correct.
So like do you have to spend like an hour a day an hour a week to maintain it? Like how much time do you have to spend on that tower garden?
On maintaining it,
Yeah, just to
did you
make sure
say?
it works properly.
Um, well, quite honestly, I don't do anything to it until I'm ready to bring it outside or back in again. So I just keep picking from my crops all winter, and I only plant once. I plant once and then I just keep picking from it. And if you keep picking from it, then it just keeps growing. And then I clean it out when I'm ready to bring it outside. And then I plant once. And then, the tomatoes keep growing and the cucumbers and the peppers. And so, I mean, there could be other people who plant more than once. Maybe they want different crops. There's 20 openings and maybe they want to rotate what they're doing. But I kind of, stick to what I feel like I'm good at so far. And then every year I try something new. So it takes very little maintenance. It just once a month I add water and nutrients. In the summer a little more frequently because the water's on a little more because it's
Mhm.
hotter. So it's on for 30 minutes, off for 30 minutes. Inside, it's on for 45 minutes, off for 15 minutes. I mean, I'm sorry, the opposite. On for 15 minutes, off for 45 minutes.
And you're talking about the pump,
So it's
right?
just,
Is it a pump circulation on and off?
yes. So there's a pump and it just cascades the water up and down on the
I
roots
see.
that grow inside the tower garden. So the water just cascades up and down for 15 or 30 minutes,
So
however you
it's
have it set.
literally just once a month you have to add water. Let's say once or twice a month you have to add water.
Yes.
So this is how little work really somebody has to spend
And the
maintaining this
new
tower.
the new tower gardens now come with a water level indicator. So you don't even have to check it on your own. I mean, all you do is open it up and see if you're low on water, but this water level indicator is at eye level, so you can very easily see when it's time to add more water.
Yes, somebody just made a comment. Nettie said some mad scientists are manipulating fruit and vegetable to provide mRNA spike proteins in our food supply. So yeah, so there are a lot of concerns um, uh, about the quality of seeds. So it's great if you can grow yourself. You know what you're growing. So that's definitely a plus to have something like this at your home, where you can kind of be sure that whatever you're growing is a quality product.
Yeah, because all their seeds are non-GMO. They know where they get all their seeds from. They know all of their farmers. They all use non-traditional methods of pest control. And the NSF certification proving everything is free of toxins, molds, herbicides, anything harmful, is really critical to have on your products and have on your labels. So Yeah, I just really feel the three key things are the nutrition label, the NSF certification, and the research. Those are really the three things that set the company apart. And it is the most thoroughly researched nutritional product. So it's safe for pregnant people. A lot of pregnant women take it as their prenatal because it's food, especially the omegas. It's safe for babies. It doesn't interfere with any medications or supplements because it's just food. So it's the safest whole food product you can take.
Yeah, I want to do a quick comment on the capsules. So when I first learned about this was almost half a year ago, the first time I talked to you, Mary. And then, being a scientist, I kept asking questions about, well, how do they make it? How do they produce it? What's in it? And when you look at the nutritional label, typically what you would expect if somebody take a fruit and let's say process it, you would have some sugars in it, right? Because fruits and berries have a lot of sugars. So with these products, the company figure out how to. By the way, the name of the company you have probably figured out is Juice Plus, juiceplus.com. And what they figure out is that when they process those minimally processed fruits and berries, they found a way to reduce the amount of sugars. So when you look at the nutritional label for these products, because nutritional label is per 2 capsules, this is what they recommend for adult person. Essentially there is zero sugars, and part of it is because it's a small capsule, so there is really not much of a content in there. But the other part I think is very valuable for somebody like myself. And by the way, I did mention at the beginning, but after I spoke with Mary, was back and forth, a lot of questions from me, being a scientist. About a month and a half after that, I decided to give it a try. And then not only I started taking those capsules, my wife started taking them, and then my children started taking them. And I do see value in this. And one of the things that I personally found out for the last several years is that I was looking for myself a kind of similar product where you can get the best out of fruits and berries and vegetables, but reduce the amount of sugar. Because one of the I would call incorrect interpretations or some kind of a hypothesis from I guess big agricultural companies is that they say, well, 5 apples a day is going to keep a doctor away. But it's incorrect, because 5 apples a day, even if you take small, let's say medium-sized apples, if you just Google it, how many calories in a medium-sized apple, that's almost 100 calories, somewhere between 80 to 100 calories. So 5 apples, those calories will quickly add up. So what this company figure out is that they take those fruits and berries, they extract the good stuff out of it, and they use some kind of a juicing technique. It's a proprietary process, but for myself, what I found out is that they really have a way of reducing the amount of sugars in those powders they produce through their proprietary process. And that's a big plus for me, because I really trying to get the most nutrition out of let's say these capsules or similar product, but have a reduced amount of calories. So this is what really was the selling point for me, because omegas I can buy, but something like this where the company would take essentially juice all these vegetables and fruits and berries, and then specifically for fruits and berries, they would reduce the amount of sugar significantly. So if you can look at the nutritional label, almost essentially they don't show any sugars in there. So that was really the selling point for me, and this is why I started using these products. I've been using them for a number of months now. I have very good tolerance. Like, I don't have an issue. I can eat it on an empty stomach. Typically take it with a glass of water. So I'm definitely, it kind of makes scientifically for me, being a scientist, it makes sense for me to take something product like this, which essentially is based on foods. It's based on whole foods, which are minimally processed and extracted and converted into powders and then capsulated. So this is kind of my take on this product. So I definitely see a great benefit. I do recommend people to try it and look at it, and just to give it a try, especially for people who look for alternative ways of getting the additional nutritional value from things they normally would not eat. And like you mentioned, like for example, mangoes and berries in fruits, those are quickly add up in terms of calories. And what happened today is that so many of us, we kind of stuck in office, or we live more or less sedentary lifestyle, or let's say most of the days we may probably don't exercise. And when you start eating all those fruits and vegetables, and specifically fruits and berries, those calories quickly add up, and it's very difficult to kind of stay have a reasonable diet if you're trying to get the best out of all this products like berries and fruits. It's very difficult to stay within reasonable number of calories. So that's yet another selling point for me, is that, well, I want to try it because that really makes sense scientifically for me.
And also something I didn't mention when you were talking about sugar, it really depends on the sugar too, because processed sugar is awful. You get the sugar spikes, and your blood sugar is just all over the place. When you eat fruits and vegetables with the fiber, it helps for the sugar to absorb slowly, and it's natural sugar from the fruits and vegetables. But you said the calories add up. Not only does the calories add up, the cost adds up. It's very expensive to buy 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. But 10 servings, because of all of the toxins in our food, in our environment, in our products, um, we need 10 servings just to maintain our health, and that's really hard to do. So it's just a great compliment for people who don't, won't, or can't eat 10 servings of fruits and vegetables. It just really helps fill in some gaps in their nutrition.
Yeah, my other issue with the vegetables, actually, I can probably get easily 10 servings a day if I'm willing to do the work, which is go to the store,
Right.
buy the produce, come home, do a thorough wash, because most of the time, whatever you buy, even if you buy something organic, you still have to thoroughly wash it most of the time.
Hmm.
And then you have to cut it, prepare salad, and then even if I do it twice a week, right? For example, if I don't want to do it every day, even if I do it twice a week, I still have to do the work. So this product really kind of filling the gap for somebody who doesn't want to do salad every day, or just just doesn't want to spend time dealing with the buying all this produce, all these vegetables, and in making a salad. I'm the salad guy. I love making salads, but I also understand that it takes time. It takes time to make a good salad. Like for example, I would buy a lot of different things for the salad, and I would chop pretty much everything I can do. And typically, I would buy things that are kind of low on calories, and it takes time. It takes if I do it myself, it takes me time to not only get it, but also make it. And then in other aspect to this, if let's say other family members don't like eating salad, then you also want to make sure whatever you buy kind of doesn't get wasted. So like you mentioned, it's expensive. Yes, fruits and berries definitely pricier. Vegetables are is cost less, but still, like a person would have to need to be committed to not only making the salad, also eating the salad, or for example, if they want to cook it. So there are many sides of this. It's very easy to buy stuff and then just keep throwing it out of the fridge just because you don't
Right.
consume it. So that's definitely my uh, problem with that, is that these capsules are extremely convenient, where like it's not going to get wasted, you will consume it.
Well, one thing when you mentioned juicing, it's actually not juiced, but what they do is they crush up every single part of the fruit and vegetable where most of the nutrition is. For example, the orange peel, 80% of the vitamin C is in the peel, and nobody eats the peel, or not very many people eat the peel. So they crush up the peel, the pit, the seeds, the rind, the flowers, the stem. They just put the whole thing in there and pulverize it, kind of turn it into a slurry, and then dry it under a very low heat and encapsulate it or put it in soft chew form. So they really lock in all of the nutrition as much as possible as they can. So, lots of people juice, and, that's a great thing to do, but it's expensive, it's time consuming, it's messy, and you probably aren't juicing every part of the fruit and vegetable when you do that. So this is just, so much more convenient and so
Yeah.
much better for you. to
So,
try to fill in
so
some of
M
those gaps.
M. Robinson Elementary Garza class made a comment. They said this November our class learned how to eat balanced meal for Thanksgiving in order to stay healthy. So, since Thanksgiving is coming up next week, what would you recommend people for Thanksgiving? Like, or what's gonna be on your Thanksgiving plate?
Well, remember when I talked about that 80-20 rule? So you don't really want to deprive yourself because, then it's not really going to work. But I have found, certain foods I love. I love mashed potatoes and gravy. But I've noticed that I could just take a really small amount and be satisfied. I don't have to fill my plate. I can just put a little bit of everything on my plate and, just feel confident that I'm not depriving myself, but I'm also not overdoing it. I used to be able to eat a whole bag of Hershey Kisses in one sitting. I was guilty of that. And now just the thought of how that feels in my stomach, I I don't I hardly ever eat candy. Halloween is like the only time I indulge myself and I'll have an almond joy or something. Just because I like the taste. But I don't worry about it. I don't fret over it. Because, if you fret over it, then that causes stress. And then you're defeating everything that you're trying to do in a positive way. So I say, everything, anything, I shouldn't say anything in moderation because there are certain foods you should never eat, like hot dogs. But, if you just try to do stuff in moderation, try to eat as clean as you can. And then for the times where you want to indulge, you know, that's fine. Treat yourself, let yourself do it.
So, are
So,
you making any pies for this Thanksgiving?
well, my favorite pie is pecan pie. So I do make pecan pie because that's a family favorite. But I try to get healthier ingredients to make it. I'll look up recipes that don't use like the corn syrup or, different things like that. And then my kids love pumpkin pie, so I make pumpkin pie. So I will be making those two pies this Thanksgiving.
Somebody made a comment. They said Jerry Seinfeld from Seinfeld. How do I get in shape? Like after you do the correct stuff. I worked out already, then I ate healthy, and then what am I supposed to do then? Work out again, eat more healthy food, drink juice. It's all over. So, people make
So
funny comments, but actually, there's something we didn't talk about. Is like how does exercise fit into your regimen? Like, do
so
you exercise once a week,
yeah.
twice a week?
So the company really focuses on the four pillars of good health, and that's nutrition, exercise, drinking water, and sleep. And, throughout all of that, you try to keep your stress down as much as you can. Um, and, when I talked about keeping your gut healthy, serotonin and melatonin, like the feel good hormones, are made in your gut. So you really want to keep your gut healthy because that helps increase, your feel good hormones. And then it helps you be able to sleep better, helps you be able to make better choices. So I try to do I play soccer. So, I play soccer once or twice a week, and then I walk every day that I can. I try to do some type of moderate exercise every day, but I don't overdo it. Exercise causes oxidative stress. So, athletes need up to 18 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. And I know that I'm not going to eat 18 servings. So, pregnant women need, 16 to 18 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. So, if you're going to exercise, you really need to increase the amount of fruits and vegetables that you eat because nutrition really is 80% and exercise is 20%. So, people say, I work out every day, I'm so healthy. But that's why you see people have a heart attack at the gym. They're really not healthy. So the nutrition is the most important thing to keep yourself healthy. And then exercise, drinking water, sleep, those are all important too.
Great. Yeah. So it's so you found it kind of helps you to be part of the team that plays soccer to kind of keep you motivating and keep you motivated, keep coming back to, when it's not just you, it's also a team, and I guess you kind of feel belonging to the team where you want to play with the team, and there's a social aspect of this, but there's also kind of what I used to do, rowing, and like we had to get up 5 in the morning, and if you know rowing, the boats we were using would have like a 4 rowers. So if one doesn't show up, the other three kind of wasted their time getting up. So it was kind of commitment.
Right.
So
Right.
and that really helps when you have like a team you kind of belong to. It really helps you and keep you motivated to actually show up and do the work.
It is nice because it's you really need an accountability buddy. And I feel like, I try to be accountable for all of my customers. I did some health coaching in the beginning, and now I just health coach my customers for free because I just really am passionate about them being healthy. So they know if they have a question about, water, they can ask me, or exercise, or nutrition, or, sleep, or, any one of those areas. If they have any questions about that, they know that I'm always happy to answer anything, and just help them, with resources and things like that. So it does help to have that accountability piece. And I really feel like, this community, we just hold each other accountable in a very non-threatening, non-stressful way, which is really nice. Everybody's very supportive, and is just willing to help in any way they can.
So Mary, I want to read something. I was reading today dietary guidelines for Americans that were published in December last year, so it's less than a year ago. And those are published every 5 years, and with the kind of projection, so kind of forward-looking guidelines. And this was just published less than a year ago. And one thing that kind of stood out to me is that it said today more than half of adults have one or more diet-related chronic disease. So
Hmm.
just think about this. Half of the people could kind of overcome the chronic disease if they just change their dietary approach, if they just ate different foods. So America, in the United States, we have more than 300 million people, right? So 150 million people could have overcome the chronic disease if they just change the way they eat, if they made changes to their diet. So that was kind of mind blowing to me to read this, and it's official dietary guidelines for Americans 2020 2025. So the next guidelines will come out in 2000, end of 2025 or around that time. But so the diet make a crucial is really crucial for a lot of people, and your story, I'm very happy that you're able to come. Thank you. We really appreciate you sharing this with Syracuse TV listeners and viewers, and I hope they will be able to kind of get some ideas, some interesting ideas from your story, and try to implement in their lifestyle and in their diet and their the way they approach the health and the way they approach the difficulties. For example, if somebody has a disease and they're trying to get better, get healthier. So thank you for sharing this story about the diet. Your transformation was very interesting. In your case, it's kind of the story revolved a lot around the products from the company Juice Plus, and you provided your kind of information earlier. And if anybody is interested in learning more about these products, and for example, if somebody wants to try these products, definitely reach out to Mary. So, Mary, could you please tell us again how people can get in touch with you in case they want to learn more about these products?
Sure. There's three ways. You could go onto my website, marybranson.juiceplus.com. It's very easy. Or you can email me at mreganbranson@gmail.com. Or you can call my cell phone, 774-219-7970. So I can be reached in several ways. And I'm just even happy to have a conversation with someone, just if they have any questions that I can answer. I'm very happy to give out free information. I'm in the middle of 10 kids. I'm the fifth child of 10 kids, and I've always been the caretaker, taking on a caretaking role. I'm a fixer. You know, I want to fix you whether you want to be fixed or not. So I'm always very happy to help. If anyone has a question and they just want some information, I'm happy to give some resources or tips.
Great. Okay. So Mary, thank you again for joining us at the studio. Please reach out to Mary if you have any questions about these specific products made by company Juice Plus. The Juice Plus years ago bought rights to the Tower Gardens, so it's kind of under the same umbrella. On these websites, healthylivingrevolution.com and thefreedomrevolution.com, you can learn more about these products. Look up the labels, nutritional labels for these products. You can also look them up on juiceplus.com. Feel free to reach out to Mary. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please be healthy and look forward to next episodes on Sierra TV. Thank you.